So good evening and welcome to Secrets of the Obvious, Part 16 or Episode 16, where I answer some of the questions that you email me or WhatsApp me or send me on Facebook or Messenger. And yeah, keep them coming and keep sending them in, but please do keep them to the Course in Miracles and try and keep your stories as short as possible and just ask your question. I'll try and answer it the best I can. Remember, I am not practicing as a psychotherapist. This is something I do in my spare time, which is scarce these days, but I will continue to do the work. Let's get started right away. So first question is, I'm new to A Course in Miracles. I've been studying Advita Vedanta for the last 30 years. In Advita Vedanta, they speak of the Jiva, the Atman, and Brahman. Jiva being ego, Atman being God, and Brahman being supreme God. Can this in any way be explained in A Course in Miracles? Yes, absolutely. So in A Course in Miracles, Jiva equals ego, the Atman equals Christ, one with God, or Christ is extension of God, and then Brahman, God or source, pure awareness, and the Jiva, which exists in Maya, the illusion, dissolves, leaving only the Atman, the Christ, whose essential nature is the same nature as Brahman. And once the Atman self-realizes its essential nature is God, or I am that I am, or that thou art, is the saying. The Atman then dissolves as a temporal ethereal activity and continues the extension of Brahman. And Brahman is all there is, God is all there is, love is all there is. So yes, you'll notice that in Advita Vedanta, which is possibly the closest teaching, especially the Upanishads or the Advaita Gita, is Dattatreya's teachings, in other words, are as close to A Course in Miracles as anything else there is. The main difference that the Course teaches versus Advaita is that this is not Brahman's doing. This is not God's doing. God isn't dreaming. The Son of God, the extension of God, is dreaming. And it's just a part of the Son that is dreaming. We call that wrong-mindedness versus right-mindedness, the part of the Son that remains awake, Christ mind, and what is dissolving and what is going to dissolve and disappear once the dreamer self-realizes, the observer self-realizes, is just the continuation of love, God. That's it, simple as that. That's the difference and the equality. And then, of course, the central theme of A Course in Miracles is your function, which is to practice forgiveness. And in forgiveness, you get to a place. Forgiveness is an illusion that forgets all illusions, or that dissolves all illusions. And then ultimately, there's just awareness. And once awareness is all pervading, awareness is our essential nature. Awareness is the all-encompassing presence of God. And once that essential nature of self is realized, game over for the Jiva, for the ego. Okay, I hope that clarifies that question. Thank you for that. In a recent talk, question number 2, this is a very angry person. Yeah, angry young woman. Gave me a real bollocking on YouTube, and here's the question. In a recent talk, you expanded on Ken Wapnick's diagram, but you avoided explaining why the separation happened. Well, I cannot explain why the separation happened because the separation never happened. I'm not really here. You're not really there. I'm not really talking to you. If you really want to talk from the ultimate reality, and to say why did the separation happen from with the device that created the separation idea, the dreaming mind, how can you answer true reality from a dreaming mind perspective. You can't. So it never really happened. And to ask, why did it happen? I have to ask the question, why do you still believe you're a body? And if you get angry with me because you're unhappy with the question, I'm just offering a perspective on my own direct experience. Don't get angry with me. Get angry with yourself for having dreamt this up. I could be asking you, why do you still think you're a body? Why do you still think you're here? And that's why you're still dreaming. That's why this still seems to appear. Never happened, isn't happening, will never happen. It's just while we dream, it appears to be happening. You dream every single night. Your dreams aren't real. And yet you dream every single night. And yet they're still not real. And just as above, so below, whether we dream at night or in our waking state is the dream of the dreaming mind, in which characters appear to walk around awake and fall asleep and dream. As above, so below. So you cannot ask the question why the separation happened. It never happened. Why do you still think you're a body? And when the moment you realize I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me, what's the purpose of asking you, why did you think you were a body? You thought you were a body because you were mistaken. Why did you think you were a body? Because you fell asleep. Why did you fall asleep? No one can answer that question because we are the dream characters. And so don't get angry with me, get angry with yourself and take responsibility for having dreamt the whole damn thing. Because when you finally take responsibility for being the dream, in other words, stepping into the observer role, Ken's blue dot, and then you realize now I have a choice to listen to the wrong-minded teacher or the right-minded teacher. Ego, which is just a fear-based thought system, it's not an entity, or the right mind, your true self, the part of you that's awake, that's calling your sleeping self to awaken. I hope that clarifies it. I'm sure if you're still angry, then look in the mirror. Never happened. Isn't happening. Okay, next question. I know that a miracle in A Course in Miracles ultimately means thought reversal and the dreaming mind awakening to self. Yes, absolutely. But does this mean that physical miracles, as in physical healings, are no longer possible? Well, if I go back to the previous question, no physical healings are really possible because the physicality is never possible and never was possible and never existed. You're just dreaming. But okay, you want to know if you can dream that physical healings take place. Okay, let's clarify this. And in A Course in Miracles, let's make a clear distinction. A miracle is the thought reversal. It's returning to right-mindedness, realizing that nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. In other words, nothing really happened, and nothing physical really exists. And you never really fell asleep, and therefore cannot be destroyed because you are the extension of God's love, life itself. But from a dream perspective, a physical healing, well, everything that happens in the dream, life itself is just in the realm of magic, therefore not true. Magic isn't real. It may appear that things appear and disappear, but whether they appear or disappear, they remain unreal. And so can a character in the wrong mind that appears to be blind get his eyesight back? Can appear to do anything. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible in the dream. Is it probable? Well, it depends on belief, because the power of belief created made manifest the whole universe. And so, yes, physical bodies can appear to be healed in the dream, but this is all appealed to magic. And yes, our deep compassion for one another and the suffering of one another and wanting to relieve the suffering of others can most definitely turn into what appears to be a physical miracle. Now, do I believe that this is possible? No, I don't believe it's possible. I actually know it's possible. I've been witness to several miracles. Now, as a young boy growing up Catholic, you raised to believe in miracles and the whole Lourdes, what happened in Lourdes in Portugal, and Mary and the Sun, and miraculous healings. And when I was a young boy and dated the pastor of a charismatic church's daughter. I used to go to church, this charismatic, and there would be hands-on healing and people would shake and pass out, but never really saw anything remotely close to what people claimed to have happened. But then there was an incident where I physically fell off a motorcycle, go-kart, and actually a go-kart, and really ripped my back apart. And there was some hands-on prayer done for me, and the pain went away. I didn't believe they had power, so I experienced it firsthand for myself. And then in my own personal experience, shortly after having completed doing the course, there was a period in my life where some miraculous physical healings took place. And in 99% of those occurrences, I wasn't consciously thinking of healing. I was unaware that the people that to which the healing took place actually needed healing. I was unaware of it. So it wasn't even conscious in my determination to help them heal. The healing took place and I watched it, and it was really mind-bending to see it. So I don't believe I know it can happen, but then I also know that the dream isn't true, and therefore anything is possible in the dreaming mind if the mind believes enough in it. With complete clarity and complete conviction, illusions seem to shapeshift, and so healing seems to be happening. There's also a school of religious people that believe that all miracles ended when Jesus died and all the disciples died. No more miracles were possible. Then there's the charismatic movement that believes it is. I believe that if there's enough love in your heart and you really have the deepest compassion for your siblings in this world, and you arrive on a scene of an accident and your heart goes out to them, it's not that you're wanting to perform a miracle. Your pure compassionate love and the realization that this isn't real is the little trigger in which miraculous activities seem to take place. Personal witness to them, believe it or not. Well, I'm a primary example. I was clinically dead for 4 hours, and here I are, driving everybody insane with my non-dual A Course in Miracles teachings, especially the Jesus freaks. Okay, speaking of Jesus freaks, next question is there only one Christ, aka Jesus, or can there be many Christs? Okay, good question. I know what you mean by many Christs. Are there others that, like a Jesus, that awoke to self and transcended illusion into God's absolute reality? First of all, there is only one Christ from the perspective of the dream character, and that Christ is our right-minded Christ itself. Not Jesus, the right mind, the mind that doesn't dream. The mind that is dreaming dreamt up Jesus, you and I. And so all characters in the dream aren't real, including Jesus. What is real is our right-minded self, Christ itself. Now, in the Course, it says the sons of God, and it explains the sons of God in two different levels. One as in the sonship of God, which is the ever-extending love, light of God, ever-extending. And then in the dreaming mind, all characters, when they appeal to right-mindedness, appeal to their true self, their holy Son of God self, the one Son who is dreaming. And so us characters are sons of God too. So just as Jesus became and remembered right-mindedness, his true essential self, Christ's mind, and achieved Christhood, ascension, so resurrection, ascension, resurrection, believe the resurrection of the body. In other words, the body's not true, and the ascension of the mind, right-mindedness, and therefore does his awareness, does his conscious human consciousness dissolved into pure awareness, right-mindedness. There have been many since, and there will be many more. And in actual fact, every single apparition, body, mind, character in the dream will come to that realization. And when enough of the body, mind, dream characters, thought streams about the dreamer himself, that's all we are. Thoughts about what the dreamer can be. What am I that dreams? I'm not this, I'm not that. The neti brings us straight into self-realization. self-realization will eventually explode, and explode as in the entire planet will self-realize, and that means any character throughout the universe. And when there's enough of us that have dissolved our body-mind identity, the spirit will become few and far between characters in the spirit world, and eventually the whole dream will dissolve, disappearance of the universe. So everybody will achieve this. So yes, in terms of characters achieving Christhood or right-mindedness, many and many, many more. And since, teachings such as the Advita and all the non-dual schools is quickly accelerating this. And of course, what people love to talk about is the quickening. And just the quickening is another silly spiritual excuse for, the rapture, or some ridiculous concept that we all want to believe the world's coming to an end soon. The world doesn't come to an end. The world's never existed. Okay, just get that right. From a Course in Miracles perspective, from a non-dual Course in Miracles perspective. So awakening to self means the characters realize we're projections of one dreaming mind. And so there've been many right-minded saints throughout history, and more nowadays. Lots of them. Okay. Hope that clarifies that. One dreamer, one Christ from a character perspective. All sons of God are equal, therefore all Christed in their awareness of awareness itself. They're all the extension of God. Dream character sons of God are awakening to that one self. We're all one Christ. Hope that clears it up. Jesus freaks aren't happy because they want him to be the only one so they can have someone to worship. Not in my school. Okay. The next one is I can see where this is going, and there've been a few chirps on my Facebook posts. And this next question is clearly someone who follows my Facebook posts too. And I won't mention names to protect the guilty. In my opinion, it's okay to charge for teaching A Course in Miracles. Why do you say it's not? I want to be able to charge for teaching A Course in Miracles. I want to make a career out of it. My liewe fokbare Lies, jy is van jou sinne beroof. Translate Afrikaans. In my opinion, Ellen didn't charge for it. Bill didn't charge for it. I love Ken Wapnick, but let's never forget that Ken Wapnick was going to join the priesthood. And how do priests make a living? They charge. So what was Ken Wapnick's natural propensity? To start a church, a group. And as much as Ken did the most beautiful work for the Course community, I also think he made some, God bless him, fundamental mistakes. As often as he would or occasionally mention the top of the ladder where there is no you and I or a Jesus, he would be Jesusing often a lot, and hence is responsible for the whole Jesus freak movement of A Course in Miracles. Sorry, Ken, but you did fuck up there. Okay, badly, dude. Okay, you're forgiven, Ken. I forgive you. The point is, there's still Course communities, big little circles they call themselves, that now want to write about Jesus wrote the Course in Miracles. No, arseholes, he did not write it. There was no hand that wrote it. He spoke it. He, the right mind, appearing as Jesus to Helen, but neither Helen nor Bill ever mentioned that Jesus spoke to them. Helen would always refer to the mind. And of course, if you're looking for evidence, you're going to find the evidence you want, and you're going to have all the most intellectual, masturbated arguments you want to create. Now you want to say that Helen and Bill were academics and they didn't want to seem like they were cooked, and so they didn't give the glory to Jesus. Hey, there is no fucking Jesus. Are you shocked? There's no you, there's no me, there's no Jesus. There's God, is all there is. And the extension of God, we, the dreaming characters, call the Christ. There's no need for the word Christ. when God is all there is, God is all there is. Perfect silence, perfect love ever extending. Are you offended? That's your shit. Take your religious shit and shove it up your fucking Uranus. I ain't interested in your shit. If you're offended, be offended. I don't give a shit. Let's get back to charging for A Course in Miracles. It's meant to be done for free. But you want to make a living, and then you want to quote the addendum, which is the psychology thing. Hey, I'm qualified and I don't practice because I think all psychos are cooked. All psychologists are cooked. Is it a judgment? It's an observation. All desperately seeking Susan, all wanting to be academics, all wanting to discover something and be the next Freud or Jung, who are just as cooked, just as sexually perverted. This work is for free. It's for free. Why do I do it? By sharing my understanding, my awareness. I reinforce it. I love this. This is my greatest joy and it was in whatever form I taught at the time I taught. I love to share my understanding. If you're offended and you make a living from teaching A Course in Miracles, go fuck yourself. I don't give a fuck what you think. I owe you absolutely fuck all. Let's get that straight. And whether you like the fact that I teach A Course in Miracles or not, I don't give a shit. I really, really don't. Still care about you. Still love you. Why? Because the essence of you and the essence of me is one indivisible self. You're just a little bit more delusional than I am. And yes, I'm completely fucking batshit crazy, but I'm not delusional. Now, you want to turn this into a career and you want to go hands-on healing and teaching and preaching and doing kumbaya circles and creating monasteries? You fucking insane. Don't you realize what the church did and how they fucked up? And now you want to take a house and convert it to a community and call it a monastery? What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you realize that you're taking Christianity and shoehorning it into non-duality and using all sorts of reasons to justify your bullshit laziness because you don't want to go out and fucking get a job? And then Jesus called these disciples and throw down their nets and they followed him. I don't believe that happened. I don't, but that's Paul's bullshit nonsense. Paul and Luke and Matthew were fucking cooked cult leaders. They wanted their own religions. And we don't even really know whether they wrote that shit or not. Throw the fucking Bible away. It's all bullshit. And do not turn the Course in Miracles into another religion. Now there's reverence. Who the fuck appointed you as a reverend? Just call yourself by your name. I don't think I call myself anything special. Luji is just a fucking nickname. People have been calling me since I was 12 years old. Not Luji, Muji, Pooji. It's just a nickname, not spiritual. I don't believe in spiritual. It's all spirit not having a human experience, spirit dreaming they're having a human experience. Now, there's the supplement in psychotherapy, and all healing is healing of the mind. Unless you're a psychotherapist and you've studied psychology and qualified, and we're not just talking a bachelor's in psychology, we're talking a doctorate, which means you're allowed to counsel. Don't start counseling using the Course in Miracles. Listen to someone like Keith Kavanaugh. He's not a psychologist. Listen to how he counsels. He takes it straight back, and Carol Howe, they take it straight back to the Course. They don't give relationship advice. How many life coaches have you seen in your life? Now, I'm a strategic business coach. I coach the highest level of CEOs and MDs around this country and around the globe, in actual fact. That's what I do for a living. Guess what? I've been a CEO of the highest level, the biggest chemical company in the world. I have 4 degrees and 2 doctorates, for shit's sakes. I've not only understood it, I've physically done it, and therefore I'm in a position to coach. If you don't ask me on relationship advice, I'm not married. I'd be the worst person. It's like going to a priest and asking him for relationship advice. Don't take A Course in Miracles and now you think you can become a psychotherapist. You fucking need therapy yourself if you think that. You can by all means teach the Course and explain your understanding of it, but be careful in giving advice, because you know what happens when you do something like this and you have a Q&A, 80% of the questions have got to do with relationships. And what are you going to do? You're going to do the most natural human tendency we have to do, which is going to be, you're going to use self-reference criteria based on your judgmental opinion, and you're going to give advice, which you're going to shoehorn into the course, and you're going to send someone on a tangent. Stick to teaching the courses. That's what you're doing. If you want to coach people as a living, go get qualified as a coach, but be careful that you're not teaching something that you haven't had direct experience to. What you're really doing is an unhealed healer seeking for healing by telling other people, by thinking other people need rescuing, and now you're going to tell other people what to do. This is a course to be done on your own. These communities to share opinion. What am I doing? I'm reinforcing your understanding, either by you agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. If you disagree with me, you reinforce your understanding. If you really have complete conviction and total clarity. If you don't, you're going to get angry with me. I don't give a fuck. You get that? If you agree with me, well, then you send me a note and I'll send you some money because, woo, you're one of my club. No, you don't get a cent from me. Agree, disagree, I don't really care. That's why in most of my posts, you can't comment. And if you can comment, it's because I forgot to switch the comment section off. I ain't interested in your opinion. I'm sharing mine. If you want to have a debate, find someone who wants to debate. Generally go to a shul on a Friday night. They love to debate there. I ain't interested in your opinion. Unless I have the direct experience thereof, I'll listen to everyone. But don't get into debate with me because I don't care. Does that offend you? Good. I'm here to offend you. Be very careful to give relationship advice. Now, everything is a relationship, but always take it back to course principle, right-mindedness. Now, can you give opinions and advice without having an opinion, which means a judgment? It's impossible. So take it straight back. Listen to Keith Kavanaugh. He does it beautifully. When people ask him nonsense questions, he takes it straight back and he laughs at you. Takes it straight back to right-mindedness. Carol Howe's very polite, but she pretty much tells you to shut up very quickly because you talk shit. You want to justify that it's okay to teach A Course in Miracles and make a living from it because of the supplement of psychotherapy? Now, what, did Jesus teach that to Helen? Or was it Helen and Bill and Ken then got involved and then wanted to have a supplement on psychotherapy, and it's okay to charge, but since some of your clients may not have enough money, then just ask for a donation. You're going to turn it into a church. You're going to turn it into a cult, and all cults come to an end, and either people commit suicide or it runs to its inevitable end. Christianity's taken 2,000 years. Time is collapsing. So if you do turn Course in Miracles into a cult, it won't take 2,000 years. It'll take 50. And we will fuck it up properly as we're busy doing it. There's the one camp, which is all the Jesus freak. And now there's another camp forming, which is the non-dualists, and realizing what the Course is really truly saying. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. It's all bullshit, is what it's saying. You're dreaming. Wake the fuck up. There, I'm hoping offending a few. Okay, now, if you're this young 19-year-old that's just written to me, I apologize for the swearing. Not really. Get used to it, especially since you're studying law. So you're saying, I'm 19 years old. Hello, Lou. I'm 19 years old. Both the Bible and the Course say we should not pray for specific things. The universe answers impersonal desires. The Holy Spirit answers impersonal desires. Because what is personal? Egoic. So only ask for specific things, that we should only want the kingdom of heaven, awareness, not a place, not a space. And then all things will be given us, not all things, all will be given us. Not all things will be given us, all will be given us. And what is all? Pure awareness. So that line gets skewed. We want the kingdom of heaven and all things will be given us. No, all will be given us. What is all? Awareness of awareness is all there is. God is all there is. Well, what if I still want things? Ouch. Okay, so you still want things. Okay, now let me be fair and just. So she wants things like a great job, a romantic relationship, a happy marriage. Good luck with that one. Children, a house by the sea, etc. Okay, well, look, If you want what you want, you need to want what you want until you've burnt out all your wants and needs and desires. Me telling you to put it all down is going to seem like a sacrifice. It's going to seem like a surrender, the word the Course doesn't use. It is now, really ruffled up a few freakish feathers. You need to burn it out. So let me not tell you to give up on your life and give up on law and go sit under a Bodhi tree and, cross your legs and clasp your hands in some spiritual position, face east and sing and kumbaya until your Uranus explodes and lights up your kundalini and your third eye erupts in fairy dust and shit. Go and do all those things. But just be aware, there's not a single human alive, not one, that is truly happy with their bodies or their brains or their predispositions or their whatever. And nobody is 100% happy with all their relationships, especially not the marriage ones. And they'll kid themselves and tell them they're happy, but all relationship is compromised. And so you're never happy because it's always to do with the authority problem. And humans hate someone else having authority, which means compromise. And eventually you'll get to the realization, once you've had the house and the car and the job or the jobs or the perfect job or the perfect house and the perfect children who probably hate you anyway by the time they turn 13, no matter how kind you've been to them. I sound like a cynic now. I don't have any children, but that's what I see. I'm just observing. And I love the ones that, oh, my children are going to grow up to be happy little Christians like me, and then the children become atheists, and then the atheists get horrified because their children turn into Christians. It's just relationships going to challenge you. But I'll go out there and burn it all out until you desire no more, until you become dispassionate for this illusion, until you realize you're dreaming and you want yourself to awaken. But you realize that you, as a fracture, cannot awaken fully until the entire dream characters awaken. And so at some stage, you pour yourself into it. You realize your journey with God is over. I realize I am, and I am that I am. I pour myself back into the dream. And you do silly YouTube videos like this, Secrets of the Obvious, and there is no meaning to life. What's the meaning to life? There is no meaning. That's the ultimate question. What's the purpose to being here? There is no purpose. We are as a consequence of having chosen to fall asleep. So what do we do now? We realize all of it is ourself. I'm only talking to myself. I'm only offending those parts of myself that need to be offended because they're not waking up the gentle Jesus way. And so now we're shocking you into the realization, I and my Father are one. And what does that mean? Well, what it means is the next question. Remember, in this dream, you're only here to realize you're dreaming, not to make manifest stuff. And no matter what you manifest, it won't give you perpetual happiness. But hey, go out and do it. And one day you'll be in court because you're a lawyer and you realize the world is really one fucked up dream. And then you realize, but I could see peace instead of this. There must be another way to see this. And your direction inward will begin. So go out, live, burn, shag, marry, kill, do all that stuff. Don't kill unless you can get away with it. But go out and play. Go out and burn it all up until you realize the pointlessness of all of it. And eventually, if your true joyous nature is all pervading, you'll find joy throughout all of it because you are joy. You're not happiness. Happiness is temporal. Joy is the true nature, eternal extension of what you are. Okay, now this is a very interesting question, and I'm surprised you're asking me this, but I'll answer it anyway, or I'll try. And yeah, did I mention this was PG 72? Okay, here goes. What can I expect after enlightenment? Absolutely fuck all. That's what you can expect. Does it mean that the whole world will become meaningless and pointless? No, it won't become, it already is meaningless and pointless. Won't this lead to depression? Hell yeah. Of course it will. The dark night of the soul. Look at how many students are still struggling with the 5th stage of the development of trust. They want to. They like it. They like telling stories. They want to say that little rocks in the fucking sky that are in front of other rocks in front of other rocks are now meaningful. It's all bullshit. But okay, you want to give it meaning and call it magical and something's aligning, and this is retrograde, and Uranus is up your Kundalini. It's all bullshit, but you like it shit. Keep making up, keep staying stuck in the fifth level. It's amazing. So it's, what do you want? What do you want me to say? And then he says, the silly little one, why not just kill myself now and return to heaven? Well, if you kill yourself now, it's just a character killing character. If characters in your dream commit suicide, do you wake up? Ah, a character in my dream committed suicide, or you just go, you go to the funeral and you put some flowers on the grave, and so you then carry on your dream characters, and eventually in the morning you wake up and forget you've ever dreamt anything died. Killing yourself now doesn't mean you get to fulfill your awakening to self experience, but what it does mean is you don't fulfill your duty to the rest of your fractured selves, because it's all you. Killing yourself's not an escape from illusion. Killing yourself is making the body real, making the world real, and then trying to deny the world by killing the body. Death is not an escape from illusion. Death is the illusion. And you have a duty, as I'm performing right now, even if I'm insulting half of you, to your fractured selves, to help them realize this isn't real. None of it is. That which observes is sort of temporarily real. That which observes becomes I am. And I am dissolves into I, and I dissolves into that which is nameless. We've named it God. Of course, I can't just leave it as that which is nameless, because someone's going to say, what do you mean by that which is nameless? That which we've named God, the Tao that cannot be named. So after awakening, what can you expect? After awakening is a concept. We don't awaken. The dreamer is awakening. I realize this is not real. So there's a self-realization, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right at the top, self-realization, awakening to self. This isn't true, but the essence of what I am, the life spark, that which is extending and forever extending, the love I am, God, is true. And I need to share this with myself. That's my only role now, that I realize all ambition's gone. I desire nothing. Really, nothing. I get a little bit of a desire for a cigarette every now and again. Often at least 30 times a day. But it's not a desire anymore. It's there, not there. Have it, not have it. It's no longer I need to. If you look at teachings, and I urge you as course students to do this, go and study the Advita Gita. It's a relatively not too thick book, by Sri Dattatreya, or they used to call him Lord Dattatreya. I don't Lord nobody, Dattatreya, which is considered to be a Nidishyana text. Nidishyana meaning at the end of the Advita teachings, the cusp of enlightenment, Nidishyana. I never say that word right, but then I'm not Hindu. And it's always considered to be the most dangerous book in the world, because it's dangerous to your body, mind, identity, ego. And it's really the philosophy of the four the rishis, the four main philosophies of the rishis, the holy men. This is sort of imagined to be, we think it's about 4,000 years BC. So it's the teachings have been around forever, okay, in the dream. And these are the hearts of the Vedic teachings, the heart of the non-dual teachings, which of course in Miracles is, and you can see the similarities. If you've studied the Upanishads or the Advaita Gita, you see the alignment with the course. Work lesson 155, I will step back and let him lead the way. You know, it says there's a way of living in the world that is not of this world. That's not the way of that people live here. Although it seems to be, to others, you'll seem to be normal. You don't physically change your appearance, but you smile a little bit more, or you're able to smile even when you growl and tell others to go fuck themselves. You're still smiling because you know you're just playing. It's not serious anymore. And, you're just more serene, and nothing really gets to you, except Jesus freaks and Course in Miracles communities, because they see them fucking it up again, which means they're going to stay asleep in the dream a little longer. And God damn it, I'm tired of coming back and doing this. And I promised I'd keep coming back and doing this. So shut, Why did I make that silly promise? Okay. But it's what happens is there's a change of perception. Nothing really gets taken seriously. Do you really think I'd be doing this if I took this seriously? Do you really think I have to get up and switch this thing on and put the lights on and schedule it and type it up and put it in? Well, I get nothing out of this. I could rather be riding my motorcycle. I do this because I'm sharing it. And by sharing it, I realize and share it, it grows in awareness. And no one else is doing it this way because everybody else is trying to make some money and therefore pull the Christians in. I don't give a fuck. Don't need the money. I really don't. Okay. So in my own experience, what really happens, and by the way, you'll find this in the Advita as well. And what was amazing is I read it and I got it sort of. Once it happened, once the transcendence took place, I can now share the complete conviction. I'm trying to convince you of anything. But there's an undifferentiated consciousness awareness that starts to happen. There's a right-mindedness where you realize none of this is true. And sometimes you realize the gentle Jesus way isn't working, so let me go and kick some Uranuses. Let me go and shake that fucking Kundalini tree up. I mean, because they're busy fucking it up, they're going to turn this into a cult. And before you know it, they're going to be giving their money away to some circle of atonement bullshit. Yeah, I'm calling it. You're going to observe without judgment, but you're going to tell them what they're doing. It's not a judgment. I don't give a fuck what you do. Charge your money, write another doctorate on it, because you still desire for fame and create a community and, this is free. There's no more future plan. They try to get me to join their communities and come and talk on their forums. I go, but I don't hold my punches, whether it's in Spanish, Japanese, Afrikaans, German. I'm just, not holding back. And be very careful if you invite me to a talk. I'm going to call it as it is. And if you're a reverend, I'm going to rev you the fuck up. Reverend. Mijn lieve volk, Marlies. There is definitely an innocent child like that. So you pull the piss, even though you look like you're growling. But this is what a kid would do. This is what I used to do as a kid. Pull the piss out of anything that I thought was a joke. Still doing it. There's a total conviction that God alone exists, that this isn't real, yet it appears in the mind, which is real, a mind which is dreaming temporarily. It's still one mind. Don't rip those two minds apart. It's one mind, just a part of it's asleep. Don't write it all off. It all appears in mind. And so all of it, the substrate of all of it is love. It's just the appearances dissolve, the filters. The appearances just filters, and the mind awakens unto itself and light extends. Now, some fuck's going to tell me there's no light in the dream. How do you know? The fuck do you know? You're still asleep. So how do you know there's no light? I'm using the word light because it's light-hearted, one, and two, light is all there is. Love is all there is. God is the light with which we see. So is there no light in the dream? Is it all dark or was it all light? Let your intuition, your spiritual intuition guide you. Is it more likely than when you awaken to self, it's all dark, or is it all light, ever extending? And the next time you say something as fucking stupid as there's no light in the dream, shut up, idiot. Be quiet. Be quiet. If you have nothing nice to say, shut the fuck up. You know who you are. Okay. You call people on the truth because you're no longer trying to people please, which is an egoic thing. The need for me to amass followers. I told you, if I've got 3 friends, 2 of them died, 1 of them's around, so I have friends. Listen to Leon. He pulls the piss out of all of it. He does what it means. He's no longer taking it seriously. Mostly. I'm sure his wife smacks him around a few times when he does. Love you, my brother. It's a peaceful and joyous state. Or would you think I'd be doing this if I was miserable? I need attention. I can't buy a girlfriend. You buy a few. Can only eat one at a time. Careful now. A peaceful and joyous state. That's it. Peaceful and joyous state. Even though you might be sounding like you're growling, spanking kittens, you realize I'm here and I'm in it, and God is all around me right now, even though I'm saying fuck. It's never not here anymore. It's never gone. It can't be gone because I'm in it. I'm the extension of it. It's constant. It's constantly acknowledged. It's all pervading. It's total conviction. It's total clarity. And that's why, if a 5-year-old invites you to a make-believe tea party and says, yeah, Uncle Lou, have some cake, and you're pretending to eat cake, and then your niece says, hey, Uncle Lou, how was the cake? Oh, it was the best chocolate cake ever. And she burst into tears and go, what the fuck now? No, it wasn't chocolate cake. It was Christmas cake. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, little child. But when you're 21 plus and you want to be getting me to say I'm sorry because I ate your illusionary Christmas cake when I thought it was chocolate cake, well, go fuck yourself. Oh, you fuckle. I'm not trying to appease you. I'm not trying to get your pants. I can pay for that shit. And that's just the way it is. So it's a gentle smile and sometimes with a growl. See, no forehead lines. Not seriously, not serious. Until you cross that line, 30 inches from my nose where the frontier of my personality goes, and no until the air is seen but sullied. So, stranger, I beckon thee that unless with bedroom eyes don't franctonize, I have no gun to do, but I can spit. And quote poetry, apparently. There's a high level of discernment. You just do not suffer fools, fractured parts of yourself asleep thinking that can convince the part of you that's awakened to self that the dream is real. Can't. There's no Jesus. Jesus never said anything. Not once. 2,000 years ago, yes. And then they misquoted him. Jesus doesn't speak to anyone, not now. Not even to Helen. And no one since. And if you're channeling Zork from Zook, you Zorked yourself and you smoking Zook. You're fucking delusional. That's the point, but you want to think you're special. And you're hearing voice, you're hearing your either wrong-minded ego voice, or you're hearing your Christ-minded right mind calling you to awaken. But when you call it Zorg from Zook, of course it's your fucking wrong mind. Of course it is. Because the voice making itself known to you wouldn't need a filter. You would know, I am. And I am says, this is, God is, full stop. Nothing else to say. Wouldn't be predicting the future, what's going to happen to mankind. You see, they all regurgitate the same shit. Wasn't the world going to end in 2012? Didn't they all write books about it? The end of the world, 2012? Even the Mayans knew it wasn't going to be the end of the world. They knew it was the end of a cycle and then the acceleration of the next cycle. And it's all cyclical. Why? Because everything is summer, winter, autumn, spring, high tide, low tide, high tide, low tide. And so we notice the makeup, the Fibonacci, the Solgafredo, the pi, all of it, there's a pattern to it, 0.618 in cycles. And so, yeah, it's going to go through a cycle, a quickening and a slowing down. Stupid remains stupid. So you don't take it seriously anymore, but you pour yourself in the best way you know how. Now, you're never going to find me in a soup kitchen. I don't like soup, and I don't like people that have given up, so I ain't going to feed anyone soup. That's it. Is it a judgment? Just how this is. I can't go work with children because I don't know what to do with kids. I don't want to go to religious communities because they just annoy the fuck out of me. Intellectuals I just find piss boring, and none of them got laid, so they're all sexually frustrated. Stay away from that. So what do? I do this. I zoom, zoom, zoom. Just like the Mazda. Only going forward because we can't find reverse. And I have fun. This is it. I enjoy it. And I don't have to make anyone lunch. Okay. And I don't like singing and holding hands and kumbayaing in a circle and looking in each other's eyes. And that's not going to ascend us. So What can you expect? I can only tell you from my direct experience. Living with me is a lot more fun. Me, myself, and Irene. That's the name of my Land Rover. Okay. Next one's a bit sad. So let me just PG 10 years old. My son committed suicide 20 years ago. That's a ouch, and my heart goes out to you immediately. And I'm left wondering as to what happened to his soul. Okay, that's a concept, but yes, the essence of self, spirit. Will he be punished in the spirit world? Will he suffer? This is obviously a student of my earlier work. I never saw this coming, gave us no signs. I still feel so guilty for not seeing it and wonder what it could have been like had he stayed with us. Why didn't I see it? So you are beating yourself up. It's 20 years, but of course, a child's loss is a child's loss. I know my little sister Helga passed away 20 years ago. My mother still mourns her like she left yesterday. So I get that. But let me just rest assured from a person that has died and did 3,500 life between life regressions, and all 3,500 people from all denominations gave me the exact same story of the secret dream, the first dream, the spirit world. Now, when you leave this body, no matter what you've done, there's a release and there's no more guilt, even if you killed yourself, and you get to the other side. And the only thing that you do experience is a slight annoyance. It's like you've ordered a perfectly hot cappuccino and it's lukewarm. It's that amount of annoyance that there could have been a better way. There was a better way. And then you get a glimpse to see, oh, I could have done it that way. That's all. And then we come back or recycle, and you're not going to be punished, but you're going to have to relive the experiences that you came to overcome in order to get to that eventual non-dual and awaken to self. So, 20 years ago, I can guarantee you this much, that which was your son is already back. And yeah, let me not go. It's coming through. Your sister's second daughter, the one with the red hair, her son, that's him. And you're now going to tell me that he's pretty close to you. Yeah, of course he is. That was your son. Similar patterns, exact same birthmark, the back of the shoulder. Go look for it. There it is. Hey, don't go look, and then you can write back to me and tell me. Sorry, it came through. Wasn't planning to do that. Magic. But he's back, and no punishment at all. Even if you shagged a sheep in this life, you don't go back and then St. Peter says, "Ooh, no more lamb chops for you." No, it's not real. You feel remorse for a second. You realize there was a better way to do it. You come back, you try again, and then realize the first dream, spirit world, secret dream where sin, fear, and guilt is hidden, is just as real as this one, or unreal as in both unreal, complete illusions. I lived for many years thinking that was real and this was the excursion. Now I realize they're both in the dreaming mind. So yeah, you can please put that down now and just be grateful. And also, we enter into sacred contracts. So that which was your son came through to bring a lesson, a horrible lesson of grief, which made you, either abandon God or turn inward, and eventually get to the point where you're asking these beautiful questions and you're awakening the self anyway. Hope that answers your question. My heart still goes out to you. Okay, this one's cute, and I'll try not to judge you because you're young. And that's when you know you're moving along in the years. Hi, Lou. My granny follows you. Cute, man. My friends and I think that you are very funny and nothing like I expected a spiritual teacher to be. Good. Serious spiritual teachers are not to be taken seriously. Fact of this illusion. So she goes on to tell me what she does, right? So it says, I'm 12 years old. And then she took a while to write this, and then she gets the point. I see spirits of people that have passed, dead people. And sometimes I see ghosts. often they give me messages that tell people who I'm about to meet. So in other words, she's never met them before, and the messages are coming. Hey, sweetheart, I get you. I see you. I get this. I get this. It's just opening now. I see beings all around people, and I seem to know things about people, even though I've never met them. This really confuses me. Am I going mad? I'm too scared to tell anyone. Only my best friend knows. People at my church, okay, I guess you're 12, so you're still being forced to go. People at my church say this is a Satan using me. A Satan using me. Please, can you guide me? Okay, first things first. People in church don't know shit. Just know that, okay? People in your church are lost, which is why they go to church. People that have found themselves don't go into buildings called churches. That's a fact, okay? So just realize this, sweetie pie. You're 12 years old. I want you to realize that adults don't know shit. And just because you sometimes have to do something because you live under their roof doesn't mean they're right. Do it, follow, give respect to your parents, but eventually you'll be old enough and you'll move out, make up your own mind, but realize adults don't know shit. Okay, adults are just bigger children pretending to know. They don't know. Okay, so the fact that you're seeing things, I get this. I grew up like this. You're claircognizant. That's what you are. The knowing is claircognizant. People are going to confuse psychic, or do you see the future? No one sees the fucking future, including the Kundalini records or the Akashic. It's all made up, and you'll notice people that talk of Akashic records and Kundalinis are completely fucking cooked. They pretend to be okay. They fucking cook. Look closely, you'll notice they're all fucking lost. They're all going through some drama, some trauma, some anguish, some anxiety. All fucking mad. Just stay away. Stay away from spiritual. Rather go hang out with the scientists or the biker dudes. The biker dudes are pretty cool. They look tough. Trust me, they're all big hearts. Just go there. Okay. Stay away from psychics. There's fucking attention seekers. 99.999% of them, most of them just make up shit. Intuitive, yes, and then they interpret through their own self-reference, and they sometimes get it right, sometimes, and they go, ooh, look how accurate I am. But 90% of the times they talk shit. And when they seem like they're right, they're just generalizing. They're saying very general things. I get what you're talking about. I get it. Now, what you're seeing is you've projected into form, and you're seeing the other projections of form, whether formless form, spirit world, or appearances of physical form here. And I bet you're struggling to tell the distinction, make a distinction between what's formless and what's form. You're the real deal. You look me up and you come have a chat. I know I don't know where you live because your address is not here, but it's a .com. So you're overseas, but give me a call. I'll guide you. I'll guide you. Here's my commitment to you. I'll guide you until you're 22. Yeah, 22. Thereafter, you're on your own. Then you've got to decide which way you want to run. But I'll guide you. It's for free. Pick up the phone. Send me more emails. WhatsApp me. Be careful who you talk to. People love to blow hot air up themselves, and they want to be so spiritual and magical and look at me, and I see angels and I see shit. They're imagining shit. Okay. Angels are refractions. True angels are refractions of our holy self in a palatable way that the Jiva, the body, mind, identity, can handle. There's no angels in the right mind. Okay. The appearance of the higher beings in the wrong mind are the highest level of a conscious awareness, bridge consciousness, eventually, and they only appear in space-time spirit world, space-time of spirit world, in order to bring the rest of our structures home. They're already awakes to self. That's where the Jesus exists as a holographic memory in the wrong mind, calling the rest of us that can connect with it to return to right-mindedness. There's no Jesus, there's no angels, there's no beings in the right mind. It's one indivisible being with God. Be careful that who you share information with, because there's going to be a bunch of people, and you'll be surprised as you get older. There'll be a bunch of people that will think you're amazing. You're so psychic. And then you're going to become their muse, or their amusement. But they won't be able to make, a single decision without you. Where my grandfather left his car key somewhere. Do you know where it is? Are you psychic? They just imagine you can imagine and see everything. Then there's those that think you're talking to dead people all the time. And then there's those people that think you can predict the future because they haven't got a cooking clue the difference between those modalities. So be careful who you visit, careful you speak to, use discernment, rise above the battlefield. Don't waste your pearls upon swine. Don't waste your time on lost in translation farts. Follow your passion, follow your creativity, be creative, be discerning, follow a path, find a course in miracles, find a course in miracles. Gary Renard's book is wonderful. At some stage, you put that down because you'll also realize there's no Atman Brahman or there's no Gary Renard or you and I. None of it's true. It's all stories to bring us into reality. Jesus is a story. Atman Brahman, Gary are stories to bring us into right-mindedness. Do you want to know if Atman and Brahman are real? They're real to Gary. Are they real? Gary isn't real. Shut the fuck up. Stop it there. Gary's experiencing what Gary needs to experience and the beautiful contribution he's brought to the course. So before you get into the course in miracles, read Gary book, and then you get to a stage and you're going to wonder, Atman and Brahman, they're storytellers, bringing us into right-mindedness. Gary's heart's pure, beautiful. But remember, neither you or I or Gary or Atman and Brahman or Jesus actually exist. Dream characters. All that exists is God. So discernment, be careful. Remember, adults don't know. And be careful who you trust completely. Use your intuition. When you're ready, you'll trust the entire world. You'll trust your brothers who are one with you. But until it's reflected back at you, just go gently and pick up the phone, phone me. I'll guide you. Until you're 22. No more after that. Then you're on your own. Okay. Question 10. I didn't know if I was going to get to this one. So you know who you are. Question 10. I'm going to answer it in little parts. Be patient with me. Hi, Lou. If in this lifetime I get more awareness of self, non-duality, you don't get more awareness. You remember self. You're not getting anywhere. You're not achieving anything. You're letting go of the filters. So I know it's just language, but realize language is important. You're just remembering self. So in this lifetime, if I get more awareness of self, non-duality, everything that ACIM teaches, do I remember this when I leave the body and travel into the spirit world? So you're saying when this body dies, will the essence of yourself return to the spirit world? If you are no longer attached to this body-mind apparition identity, the essence of you, the light spark, returns to the right mind. Spirit world, wrong mind. So you may make a little bit of a detour and say, goodbye, I'm out of here, right mind. And what goes to right mind? The essence. What happens to you in the right mind? Is there a you and a Lou and a Jesus in the right mind? No. The minute the essence of you returns to right-mindedness, the memory of you fades completely, never having existed at all. You won't even know you've been here. You won't even know you're asking this question. The essence of you returns to Christ's mind, and all you'll know is God, the love of God. What else do you want to know? And then, do I have the awareness of sin, guilt, and fear that I had earlier hidden deep in my subconscious mind? No. If you awoken to self, there's no subconscious guilt, sin, and fear. If you return to the spirit world, that means you still desire something. The desire of something means that something inside you is unfulfilled. That sense of unfulfillment is wrong-mindedness. And although you're unaware of what that sense of fulfillment is, that sense of fulfillment is the belief in sin, fear, and guilt. But it's been suppressed. So the closest you get to realizing sin, fear, and guilt is that uneasiness, that void, that emptiness that you want to fill. So if you still want to fill it and you're still afraid of something or you still want something at the moment of physical death, guess what? Spirit world, you'll be back. I'll be back. But when you finally put it down and you die while you're still alive, Paulo Coelho's wonderful teaching, he died while he's still alive. He made a tombstone like that. It's not even buried yet. His tombstone is already ready. Paulo Coelho died while he was still alive. He died, in other words, awoke to self, realized the self. And then when this body dies, there's no, oh, you can't wait to put it down anyway. And the essence of you dissolves all memory of spirit world and this world and ever having existed. And you give your light spark, your Christ itself to the Christ self. Your Holy Spirit self, the memory of God, returns to the right mind. And that right mind lights a little bit more. And the darkness shrinks ever so gently. Why don't you want to speed it up? Because it would feel like he's taking it away from us. And so you're going to hang on to your illusions. Can I continue my awareness, awakening in spirit if I want to? There are those that are designed for it and scripted that way already. So if you choose to return to the spirit world to help your siblings, the minute you get to that spirit world and you realize you're already awake to self, you'll realize I can do more for my siblings, both in the spirit world and in the projected physical world, by returning to right mind. And as the right mind lights up that much more, that's why there's more and more of us going through the quickening, which means we're awakening to self, because the right mind is increasing its light as more and more of us join right-mindedness. I hope that's sort of clearing it. You've asked some other questions, but I think I've pretty much gotten rid of those other questions. Now, do angels incarnate? In the dreaming mind, there's different levels. At the highest level, there appears in the spirit world to be these ascended master angelic type beings. What they really are is filters of right mind, shining into the dream of darkness, calling us all to return to self. Those angelic beings are all one indivisible self, just as Jesus and you and I are one indivisible self. No Jesus outside me, no hands to hold. Awakening to one indivisible self, the eternal extension of God. I'll stop there and we'll do some more questions.